already given me. I remember how you told me I can trust you completely. So why am I doubting when you prove that you'd fight for me? You've walked me through fires, pulled me from flames. If you're in this with me, I won't be afraid. When the smoke billows higher, oh, and higher, and it feels like I can barely breathe, I walk through these fires, 'cause you're walking with me. I'm changed by your mercy, covered by your peace. I'm living out the victory. Doesn't mean I won't feel the heat. You've walked me through fires, pulled me from flames. If you're in this with me, I won't be afraid. When the smoke billows higher, oh, it's higher, and it feels like
blowing me up. Come here. Yeah. Just like told you. He called me to just come to work. I said, no. Hey, get it to come up. I said, this is so funny. The one that don't know anything about a phone or computer is telling the one that knows everything about a phone. Okay, pull around. You better get it right. Yeah, I'm gonna skip you today.
Hey, Sandy.
How are you all doing? I love you. I'm pretty comfortable with it. How you been? I know, God, it's been forever since I've seen something.
I know.
Yeah. Well, so, how's life in Africa? That's the same. Got like the life here. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, so. He's still here. Okay. See, now that I know you athletics, I don't know anybody. Yeah, he's still here. With Tanner? Yeah. Oh, I thought you still had somebody else there. No, he's still here. Where's he? Like I said, now that once I stepped away from athletic training, he was going to. Remember, he was going to try to go play, but then all his friends and stuff went. And then everybody got canceled. Yeah, they all did. So he just stayed right
So,
here.
man, you doing all right?
Tanner,
Doing
you're
all
a junior this year?
Just
Oh,
senior.
senior graduates in May. Okay. He'd be graduating with Austin.
Good.
These are in May.
I had Austin in golf class and walking for fitness.
Yeah.
And I said, I was trying to get Tanner or Austin to be my TA for golf class. Oh, Austin? Yeah. Why don't you come up and be my TA after he took it? Because he'd be like, out there. I said, Austin? You know, I said, why aren't you on the golf course?
Okay. He just did it for fun.
He did. I was like, why are you not on the golf team?
This is his mommy. You know his mommy. He said anything that wasn't fun, there wasn't much fun in doing it, so he wasn't going to do it.
Well, I mean, he was just, even in walking for fitness, you know, when I had him, he was like, that was even fun.
Yeah, we were trying to build up his strength.
Yeah, yeah, so he would come in, he's like, just let me know, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Okay. I said, just be up today. And he was like, and then he, you know, one day he goes, probably going to walk a little slow today. I was like, okay. All right, whatever you need to do, you just do what you need to do. So, but, you know, and I was telling somebody, I said, you know, when you see that, well, I have this. Of course, you know I'd say that.
Yeah.
But he never, ever asked for any special accommodation.
No, he didn't want people to know he was sick.
Well, we had to roll this off. So, you know, I tried to walk with different students and walk and chat and talk. So, it's just always, he was an amazing kid.
Thank you.
Very proud of him.
I think so. I think we all. We all know it's just, yeah. I think that's the woodworking man. Is that the woodworking man over there? No. It's got on the strappy shirt. What's his name?
Is that Scott? I don't know who that is. Can't tell that might be Scott. So you're probably thinking,
Yeah, is that him?
yeah.
Okay.
Gary's here, I'll tell you.
Isn't that the president over there?
Yeah, he just walked around. Getting ready to walk onto the field. I'll try to. What are you doing?
I don't know. Working at Sisters Bank now.
Okay.
I'm actually at the branch here in Berea.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so it's
it does. Yeah. That's what I'm like, I can't wait to graduate. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna regret everything you say someday.
Dad kept telling me.
Highly overrated.
He kept telling me not to wish it away.
Yeah, you can't just, you know, like, you know what, I just married up.
Yeah. Sleep in.
Yes. Is that right? Dan, what's your degree going to be? Okay. Elementary or? What's that do? What's that do? Okay, first of all.
I'm hoping to be 6th grade though, so just keep on grading.
Well, I guess because now, what is it? K through 5 and then it's 6 through 8. Okay. Yeah, so they're still the, now they're the newbies. You know, versus the 8th
Still got the
graders.
bluff on 6th grade.
Yeah. Versus the 8th graders who all have the attitude. Because we're the oldest in school. His thing, it's Jordan something.
Yeah, and I'm a very physical person.
See, Jill, you're following rules. I broke every rule. I'm hugging all of them.
We live.
But you know, I've been breaking rules my whole life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hi, Joe. Congratulations. I was gonna make a comment when you're like this. I was like, don't dislocate yourself.
I know, no kidding.
But I didn't. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna let it be a celebration.
I always hold my breath when they fall or something. It scares me. Hope to God they got better shoulders.
Oh, really?
I know, I'm like, I didn't have any sunscreen in the office.
Feels good right
So I
here.
was kind of like, especially as white as this is. I haven't seen a whole lot of things before. Wasn't my parents' house. I was walking out to the garage to put the refrigerator for them.
My mom did that.
I was like,
My mom did that. She rolled her ankle. I thought she snapped it. She just missed it. It was just a little bitty step. It took the dog out. Just missed it. Just rolled.
I tell you, it doesn't take much.
What's up, there? Tennis, how's it going?
Hey, it's going.
Yeah,
We're
that's
making.
Y'all got some Serenas out there then?
Hey.
Yeah, I mean,
Not yet.
okay, that's solid, that's solid.
Yeah, you walk around the dugout. There's a gate over there.
Oh, come on. I want to see you jump it. Go ahead.
We're getting ready to get started here in a minute or so. Okay. So whenever you're ready, come around and sit up here with us. All right. Thanks.
How many kids does Blake have? Two.
Two boys.
He's just rolling right into that goal. Oh, okay. That is cool. Hey, Gary.
That's the little one. It's Reese.
Still, if my kids were working away down there. At one point,
Yeah, it's bad. It's good. It's big.
acrylic. Oh my God.
He's a nut. He's just like that. He is just like that.
Yeah.
He likes to talk. He'll be the one in trouble at school. Thank you.
So they're going to explain, but you can write something for Austin for you to keep, or you can write something for his family, and I think they're going to put this so that they can
I know. I'm making light of it. In some ways, I don't.
see Tater and Zach go back.
In other ways, I'm thinking that would be such a cool video thing.
Today, we gather as a Berea College community to celebrate the life of one of our own. We gather to celebrate the life of our friend, brother, and son, our classmate, co-worker, and avid golfer, baseball player, and sports fan, Austin Dunn. Austin is deeply loved here at Berea and back at home in Estill County. Wherever he was, he made a lasting impact. I'm Reverend Jake Hoffmeister, one of the college chaplains here, and I want to welcome students, staff, faculty, and members of the administration to this occasion. And most importantly, I'd like to welcome members of Austin's family. I see you all over there. We welcome Kim Dunn, Austin's mother, Philip Dunn, Austin's father. We welcome Cheryl Absher and Kenneth Absher, Austin's grandmother and grandfather. We welcome Austin's aunt, Tiffany Scarborough, and his niece and nephew, Embry and Nolan. We welcome Austin's uncle, Kenny Absher, and close family friend, Christy Crow. You are now and always will be a part of the Berea College community. We are so very glad you are here. Before I go into a little bit more about the strong, courageous young man Austin was and still is, a few words about the service. Though during occasions like these, we long to embrace each other, we ask you that you gather and support each other, maintaining physical distancing and mask wearing. Also, I want to extend a big thanks to all who helped put this occasion together, to those taking part in the celebration. I'd like to thank athletics, especially Kevin Kim, Kyle Emberton, and Ryan Hess for their help. This service will be live streamed on the Berea College Athletics YouTube channel, so our community members unable to be here in person can take part, experience the service, and share words of love and remembrance. I only knew Austin for a very brief portion of his all too brief life, but he made a big impact on me. Because of COVID-19 protocol, I wasn't able to visit him in his hospital room right away, so his mom, Kim, was kind enough to connect me on the phone. This was just a few days before we had the graduation ceremony for him in the hospital. When I spoke with him, he was undergoing a 4-hour-long chemo treatment. Many of us wouldn't find out until a few days later just how sick he was and how long and hard he'd been fighting. But when I talked with him, I couldn't get over the fact at how calm, how at peace, how hopeful he was. At the strength of his faith, I was even shocked. He was planning to get some of his classes done virtually from the hospital, was trying to get back to campus for his woodworking class. I tried to imagine myself in that situation, and I couldn't imagine being that at peace and being that determined to accomplish an almost impossible goal of graduating in the midst of those circumstances of the illness. But that was Austin for you. an almost unparalleled resilience and motivation, an unshakable faith and hope in the midst of the most difficult and distressful situation. Like I mentioned, many of us didn't know just how sick Austin was and how long and hard he'd been battling his illness. And Austin wanted it that way. He didn't want to be treated differently. He wanted to enjoy college and graduate on his own terms. And he did just that. I couldn't believe how many doctors, nurses, and hospital staff joined us for his graduation ceremony in his hospital room. It had to be 20 or more. One staff member even made the trip to the hospital just for Austin, as she had been working from home that day. They made decorations, banners, and processed into his room with pomp and circumstance, playing on an iPhone. We had Austin's regalia and his diploma, and we had the commencement ceremony right there. Even though Austin was mostly unresponsive at that time, we knew he could hear us. When I finished with the words, "Congratulations, Austin Dunn, class of 2021, his eyes opened for a brief moment. He knew he had really done it. It was such a wonderful moment, and maybe the most impressive accomplishment I've witnessed anyone make in my lifetime, considering the circumstances Austin was facing. And so many of you were there supporting him along the way. First and foremost, Austin's mom, Kim, his dad, Philip, his close family and friends, and the faculty and staff and students here at Berea College. What a beautiful, inspiring, heartbreaking story. What a strong, impressive, inspiring young man. So many of us are so privileged and blessed to have known Austin Dunn. So for the rest of the program this afternoon, you'll get to hear from some of those members of the Berea College community I had mentioned, as they share meaningful stories, fond memories, and I'm sure a few humorous anecdotes about Austin. President Lyle Ruloffs will open with remarks, followed by Ryan Hess, Director of Athletics. Then we will hear from Dr. Jasmine Jones of Computer Science, Austin's major. Then we'll hear from two very close friends of Austin, Tanner Crow and Zach Withers, who were students here on campus with him. And to close out our service, we will have two special presentations in Austin's honor. One from Ryan Hess and one from Reverend Loretta Reynolds, Dean of the Chapel. Now I welcome President Ruloff to share his remarks, followed by the rest of the program.
Thank you, Reverend Jake, for those moving remarks. Welcome to all, and thanks for attending this gathering of beloved believers, beloved Bereans, to celebrate the life and share memories of Austin Dunn. I'd like to add my welcome to Austin's family members who have joined us, and so many friends of his and the family as well. Austin will be remembered with great fondness at Berea College. Later in the program, you will hear from some of his professors and friends, and they'll share their treasured memories of him. I will say that for me, although I did not get to know him personally, Austin epitomizes the best sort of Berea student. At Berea, we're fond of celebrating the importance of everyone's Berea story. We say, in fact, that the story of Berea College, this unique little school in Kentucky, is really best understood as the combination of all the stories of all the many Bereans, past and present, whose lives were touched and transformed by this place. Austin's Berea story is truly special. Even though, in one sense, it came to an end far too soon, the great thing about stories is that they live on and continue to inspire and teach us, as Austin's surely will. In fact, through that story, Austin himself will live on in the memories of all those touched by his time at Berea and his story. Berea stories are remarkable for their commitment to education and, as Reverend Jake said, for their resilience. No matter what life throws at them, and no matter what is in their past, they are determined to make the most of their opportunity at Berea. Austin brought with him, as he came to Berea, an ongoing battle with the very worst kind of enemy. We all know it's not easy to be a Berea student. Some Berea students, in fact, call it a 4-year ride on the struggle bus, what with hard classes and labor and all those fascinating extracurricular opportunities to keep you busy. When you think about doing all of that while also battling cancer, you just have to be amazed at Austin and inspired by his great commitment to earning his degree at this school. That's why when 4 weeks ago I got word of the development of his concerning medical situation, and just a couple days later I began to get many pleas for the college to confer his degree a couple of months early, I immediately asked all of those who would have to be involved in that decision to try to get that done. You've already heard from Reverend Jake about the lovely outcome of that quick work by several faculty members and administrators at the college, most of whom are here, by the way. And we are so very glad that that celebration could occur when it was still meaningful to Austin. And it could be one of the concluding elements of his Berea story. Now we're left with that story, and I, like all of you, are looking forward to hearing other parts of that story from those gathered here to commemorate the life and passing of a wonderful Berean and to celebrate his beautiful Berea story. So thank you. We will turn next to remarks from Ryan Hess, Director of Athletics.
What a beautiful day for this celebration, and what an appropriate location for us to gather. Austin's labor appointment throughout his time at Berea was in athletics, and he spent many hours down here at the sports complex working games alongside our staff, many of whom are here today. As you know, within the labor program, Berea students function in many essential roles, helping move the work of the college forward in fulfillment of our call to learning, labor, and service. The assignment of students within the college's labor program can be quite random at times, but at other times very intentional. I remember reading Austin's first-year student resume submission, outlining his interest in an on-campus position that was connected to baseball or other sport activities. Boy, did we have just the job for him. In all, Austin amassed over 2,000 hours working in our department, beginning as an athletic events assistant before ultimately assuming a leadership role for us. Austin was not a student worker. He was a co-laborer, and we relied upon him to help manage and supervise most of our events over the last 4 years. Our department was beyond blessed to be matched with Austin in that fall of 2017. You know, as a labor supervisor, we serve to supplement a student's academic experience, to train and to teach skills to further develop a well-rounded Berea graduate. We strive to provide learning opportunities and to bestow some knowledge through experience. If the very heart of the labor program, as found in the 4th grade commitment of Berea College, is to promote learning and serving in community, to honor the dignity and utility of all work, both mental and manual, and taking pride in work well done, then Austin Dunn far exceeded all expectations. His work here embodied that very essence. Learning through labor doesn't just take place as the supervisor instructs the student. Truth be told, we learned far more from Austin than we ever could have provided to him. Austin taught us about determination. He taught us about resilience. Never wavering, his positive spirit and energy revealed an unrivaled strength. He taught us things about life we never before imagined and will certainly never forget. For this, Austin, we thank you.
Good afternoon. So these remarks were originally prepared and supposed to be given by Dr. Jan Pierce, who is our computer science department chair, but unfortunately she went to the baseball field in Irvin, and so 12:59 she messaged me and asked me to give these in her place. And I'm sure she's rushing back here so she can be able to greet you and I'm sure she was going to bend the laws of physics to make that possible. But I'll read her remarks, which come from the entire faculty of the Computer Science Department. Hello, my name is Jan Pierce. I am a computer science professor at Berea College, where I chair the Computer Science Department. You all knew Austin, but likely in a wide variety of aspects of his life. My goal today is to speak for the entire Computer Science Department as we each came to know Austin as a student. Hence, my own reflections will come in a bit after others who have met him before I did. Professor Emily Lovell met Austin in fall 2016, which was the very first term at Berea for both Austin and only the second term for Emily. So here are her reflections. I am so sad and terribly sorry to hear of Austin's passing. He was so young, it's such a tremendous loss. I had him in the Craft of Computing course, in one of the earliest iterations of the course. In fact, in which I was very grateful for such gracious students. Then Scott and I had him in software design and implementation, the term that we co-taught as well. I remember Austin as the sort of student everyone enjoys having in their classroom. He was quiet and kind and would work well with everyone he was paired with, which goes a long way in Berea CS classes. I know that he was navigating aggressive treatment and surgery by the time he was taking 226. At the time, I kept thinking how difficult that must have been, and yet he was determined to keep up with his coursework. He even emailed us the day after surgery, literally, to troubleshoot an assignment. It was impressive and inspiring, seeing him get on with life like that. No doubt he will be sorely missed. She added a heart note. Professor Scott Hagan met Austin in the fall of 2018 when he enrolled in software design and implementation. The following are his words. At this time, Austin was in the midst of doing treatments, managing his labor assignment, and attending a full load of classes. Right away, I was incredibly impressed with his perseverance in pursuing his education. More impressively, though, was Austin's attitude that he brought to class. Every day, he was asked to collaborate one-on-one with another student working through challenging computing concepts. Austin, despite the wealth of excuses he could have used, did not complain, not even once. He did the work, he put in his best effort, and he did it all with a smile. I was blessed with the opportunity to work with Austin for his remainder of time at Berea, serving as his academic advisor as he completed his computer information sciences major. That same positive attitude and perseverance made advising Austin super easy and incredibly rewarding right up to his graduation. I will close by saying that I have two regrets with Austin. First, he had dreams beyond Berea College, and I regret that he wasn't able to pursue them. Second, I regret never taking Austin on at the golf course, though I'm sure that it would have been very embarrassing for me. Okay, and this reflection is from Dr. Jan Pierce. I myself met Austin in the spring of 2019 when he was enrolled in my data structures course, and I want to echo all that my colleagues have said about his work ethic as well as his kindness. There are times that I must remind myself that God's ways are not our ways, and this is one of those times, because it seemed that Austin could have had such a promising life and career ahead, but instead God chose to call him home. Austin was a very easy student to have in class, and it was such a great peer to other students. He was scheduled to work with me this past summer on a research project, but his cancer had worsened, and after a couple of days of attending our sessions, he apologized but told me he felt he needed to spend this summer focusing on his health. What grace. To apologize for something that was not in his control and that was not even something he needed to apologize for. I was just so sorry to learn that his health had worsened. I then had him this past fall in computational complexity course. Even though he was characteristically hardworking and kind, I expect that the other students had no idea about the battle he was waging. I came to see Austin as a talented and hardworking student who was absolutely incredible in the face of debilitating and ultimately deadly disease, but still highly engaged and so very kind to absolutely everyone. I never heard him complain, and I never ever heard him utter a negative word about anything or anyone. I see him as a truly good person. this next reflection is from me, Professor Jasmine Jones, and Mario Nakazawa, who were Austin's advisors in the senior design practicum course, which is the final capstone requirement for the major. Okay, we worked with Austin on his senior design project this spring. From the start, he was thinking about how he could use his project to help others. He proposed an idea from an entertainment platform for senior citizens who lived in nursing homes to access their favorite games, music, and movies in an easy way, and to connect with family members through these fun media. He was inspired by his grandmother, and the goal of his project was to help seniors stay busy when they were feeling lonely and isolated due to the lockdown caused by the pandemic. Austin showed great empathy in his idea and was working diligently to learn the tools and design process to make this a reality by the end of the semester. It was inspiring to work with him, and we'll miss his presence and perspective in this senior cohort. And then here's the conclusion of Jan's remarks. Austin's degree was very important to him, and the entire computer science department is very happy that he was able to enjoy a private graduation ceremony. We want you to know that he earned every bit of his degree while facing the health challenges that he did. And those are truly unimaginable, and the entire department is very proud to count him among our alumni. Of course, you all know that Austin deeply loves sports. I also want to close with a brief bio that Austin wrote at the start of Jan's computational complexity course this past fall. He saw himself as having lived a blessed life, but I wonder how much more did his presence bring blessings to the lives of all of us who knew him. So here are Austin's own words. Hello, my name is Austin Dunn. I am a senior majoring in computer science. I hope to graduate this spring of 2021. My labor position is in the athletic department. My hometown is Estill County, which is about 30 miles from Berea. I have a miniature golden doodle named Teddy. In high school, I enjoyed playing basketball, golf, and baseball. Now I enjoy golfing and traveling in the summer. The best place I've traveled so far is to Hawaii. The landscape was amazing. I have been very blessed in my life so far. I'm not much of a talker, more of a listener and a doer. The picture that Austin posted with his bio is one of him standing in this field in a blue Estill County baseball t-shirt, holding his baseball bat. Through that picture and this service, we can see him here standing with us today as we remember him so proudly. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tanner Crow. I'm a current student here at Berea College and a dear friend of Austin's. I was very fortunate to have such a wonderful person in my life like Austin. He was and will always be my best friend, a roommate, and a brother. My relationship with Austin began in elementary school, where unfortunately we went to different schools, but we always played against each other in sports, especially in basketball. Primary basketball is where I met Austin. I always dreaded playing against Austin because he was always the big man. He swatted every shot. As we moved from elementary school into middle school, this is where our friendship really took a leap. This is where we became super close, from the fishing trips that Kim would take us on to the pickup basketball games at his house every weekend, and to lastly being the bus partner for all 3 years in basketball that we played. The great memories. Then as we moved to high school, this is where our friendship really started to mature. One funny story I like to tell about Dunny Boy, which is what we call him by the boys, is one day we were with the baseball team and we were in the weight room working out, and we were on the ground doing some core exercises, and we all were doing the exercises, and then all of a sudden we look over and there's Austin playing on his phone, playing a video game. And if you knew Austin, he just really wasn't into much exercising. But after high school, we both moved on to Berea College, where we were roommates every year we were here. Throughout our time here and when Austin got sick, all he wanted was to graduate and earn that degree. Thankfully, we got to see him achieve that goal. He was and forever will be an inspiration to all of us. Austin will forever be one of the strongest person I know, and his positive outlook on life will be one I will never forget. I'm so thankful that I was fortunate enough to call him my brother, and thank you. And I just want to thank all of you all for this celebration. It really means a lot to us and his family, and thank you for putting it on.
Hello, my name is Zach Withers. I'm also a very dear friend of Austin. And again, like Tanner said, thank you all so much for this. It really means a lot. Something about Austin you could start off saying, to know him was to love him. You couldn't be in a bad mood around the kid. It didn't matter. If you were mad and you told him about it, he wasn't going to take you serious. He would say something goofy to make you laugh every time. Every time. With Austin, we met whenever we were young through church, and that kind of progressed as we got older. Got through middle school was whenever it took a big leap as well, into sports, and through high school, and then coming to college. I made a decision to come to Berea College, and then the next year, Tanner and Austin, they also came, and we lived together for 3 years. We watched him battle every single day. He didn't want anybody to know what he was going through. Every day was a struggle for him. You guys have no idea. But he's always smiling. He was always smiling. He wouldn't let you know how bad he felt. You could just see it. He wouldn't tell you. And he got better. And then this past summer, every day, I worked at the golf course whenever we let out for COVID. And I'd get there at 8 in the morning, and he was always there by probably 10:30 or 11. And then whenever I got off work, we stayed there, and we'd play till it get dark. We would lock the gate literally every night. A lot of nights we'd get on a golf cart and we'd just ride around and talk about life. And we couldn't see anything. We were trying not to hit trees and whatnot. But I'm thankful for every moment I had with him. I know we all are. We're a very close group of friends, and it's not easy, but we're all here for each other, and we will continue to be. And something about Austin, a funny story I'd like to share. I know they've already heard this, but it was one of the first summers we began playing golf. We have a hole at our golf course in Estill that it's a par 3 and you hit it over the water. Well, I'm not good at golf. Kevin can attest to that. But we got on the tee box and I hit 3 straight balls into the water, back to back to back. I got frustrated, of course, and I told Austin, I said, well, I'm just going to go down here on the other side of the water, drop it. It's just an easy chip over the water, easy enough. And he said, all right, let's go. So we went down there, I dropped the ball, and what'd I do? I chunked that right into the water. He looked at me just as serious as could be. I probably said a few choice words in between there. He looked at me, he said, I know what your problem is. And I was like, oh, do you? I was like, what is it? He said, man, you just suck. That's the kind of guy he was, though. You can't beat him. And he's an inspiration to every one of us. We'll never forget him. Already dream about him. It seems like you pass him on the road. We'll never forget him. Thank you all again.
Every year, the Berea College Athletic Department hosts the Mounties, an awards banquet and presentation recognizing achievement and excellence within our athletic programs. Beginning this spring, the annual sports banquet will feature a new award. The Austin Dunn Award will now annually be presented to a student participating or working within athletics who is determined and resilient, exhibits tremendous integrity, and is recognized by their peers for having an unwavering positive spirit, all traits embodied by Austin. This afternoon, I am pleased to present a plaque bearing this description to Austin's family and to recognize the first ever recipient of this new award, Mr. Austin Dunn.
For many years, we have dreamed of having a consistent and notable way to honor students, faculty, and staff who die while working or studying here at Berea College. That dream is now in process. An artist is currently creating a memorial sculpture that will be located outside the library in the area of the labyrinth. It is a tree-like sculpture with leaves that will honor and celebrate the life of each member of the Berea College family whom we have loved and lost. Each leaf will have the name and the month of death of each beloved Berean. The memorial sculpture is scheduled to be installed this summer, and a dedication service is planned for next October. Friends, colleagues, and family, to honor and celebrate Austin as a member of the Berea College family who will live on in our hearts, his name will be inscribed on a bronze leaf and added to the memorial tree. This tree sculpture, holding Austin's leaf, will be a beautiful and timeless testament to the eternal endurance of love.
Like has been mentioned, we chose this location for this service due to Austin's love of athletics, especially baseball, and his close connection to his labor position in the athletics department. After the benediction, I invite you to linger for a bit, to share stories, and to sign the baseballs with a message of love to Austin, either to be left for the family or to take with you to remember this moment and to remember Austin. We'll also be playing one of Austin's favorite songs, Fires by Jordan St. Cyr, a song that he would listen to in important moments throughout his journey to maintain calm and peace, something he did so well. Berea College professional staff members and student chaplains are here for your support as well. Now, let us prepare our hearts and minds for the closing benediction. We gather together in this place to celebrate the life of one of our own, Austin Dunn. We've shared stories, celebrated the immeasurable impact that Austin has had on our lives and this community. We will miss him dearly, but he will be with us in the memories and the stories we share. I pray that we will come together as a community in support of each other in this time of grief and sadness. And though Austin is irreplaceable and we will be forever changed, we ask for the help to be there for each other so as we heal and move forward, we will be stronger together and we will focus on deepening our relationships with one another. And now, as we prepare to leave this place, may this time together, the celebration of the life of Austin Dunn, an extraordinary life, be the healing, meaningful time that we each truly need. And as this past Sunday reminded us, help us to remember that nothing, not even death, can separate us from the love of God. In the name of love, grace, and peace, I pray. Amen. Thank you all. We invite you to share stories and linger for a little while.
Yes, it's cool last week. That's all right.